players, and you say, who was the best player you played with, who was the best player in training? I mean, virtually all of them say Scholes.
Yeah.
Amazing that, isn't it, considering the players who've come through the ranks. But he's the top man.
Proof.
He had everything.
Proof of what he's done for 20 years, isn't it?
He had everything, didn't he, for a midfield player?
Yeah.
Everything.
Up to the last couple of years, you wouldn't have wanted him to be in your half too much, though, would you? He was always better in the offensive half.
The passer of the ball. Oh, dear me.
The accuracy.
Yeah.
He had everything, actually. Fantastic player, and he will be sadly missed. Danny Welbeck, Ashley Young, two players who will want to get involved as soon as possible in the first team action. Now, Danny Welbeck, since going to Sunderland, Paddy, he looks a different player, doesn't he? He looks
fitter.
Up and
well, I'm saying fitter, stronger, but he's an intelligent player as well. He was very impressive, Les and Tour. Very, very impressive.
All of a sudden, he's become a man.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, he was picking up injuries, which they do as they grow. But he is a man now.
Oh, he's a big lad, and he's a strongly built lad as well.
Very strong.
Yeah.
And a very intelligent footballer.
Yeah. Funny enough, I met his family in the airport when we were coming back from Moscow, and they're quite a bright family as well. What a lovely family, you've got to say as well. I think he could be the one that will make the breakthrough this year.
When you think in the under-21s finals where England were a little disappointing, he was the only person that scored any goals.
Stood out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair to say that both Welbeck and Cleverley in pre-season have impressed.
He's a bit stronger than Tom Cleverley. He's a bit stronger physically.
I think Tom is a very, very clever player, and if he plays, he will get some goals because he gets in there.
He does, and he knows when to get in there.
Yep.
Not sure you'll see too many defences like the New York Cosmos in the Barclays Premier League, but it's great to see them back with us. I mean, it's amazing to think that Tom hasn't actually played for United at all. He has not made a senior appearance for United. He's obviously had a lot of experience, but in 3 different clubs on loan. I think that will change this season, won't it?
Was it not true that he played in the pre-season game, was it last year, against Valencia?
No, he played, that was the year before. He played last year.
He scored the goal.
He scored a brilliant goal in the States last year as well against the MLS. And he scored in South Africa, I think 3 or 4 years ago. So he's always done well in pre-season, but did well for Wigan last year. Great at Leicester, Watford. So he's actually got quite a lot of experience, just not with United. Very
much so, and the one thing that Tom's got is that strong mentality.
Is it Wigan he's from?
No, I think we actually
Bradford
paid a little bit.
Bradford,
we actually paid a little bit of compensation to Bradford some years ago for him.
I thought he was a local kid. Shows you how much I know, doesn't it?
Well, he is local when you talk about catchment area, because Bradford would just come within our catchment area, but Danny Welbeck's the local kid.
Yeah, I know Danny's a local lad. I thought he was a lot more local than Bradford.
He is 22 this month, which is obviously young, but it's not like that young. So this is his time to move on if he's going to make it at United, isn't it?
I think he will do. I think the thing about Tom is that the questions that have been put to him, he's found answers for. Even if it's meant going on loan.
I think it's important sometimes to go on loan, especially now when you've got the big squad of players that teams are, particularly United. You don't want kids to be playing in the reserve team all the time. You want them to get more competitive football. I'm not saying it's not competitive at reserve team level, but more competitive.
I think it's going to be very interesting. The running of academies are going to undergo radical changes in the next 12 months.
In what way?
2 years. Well, they're going to be regraded. In other words, the word centre of excellence will disappear after next year, and academies will be graded 1, 2, 3 or 4.
What is that down to age or quality?
No, it's down to quality. We will obviously be aiming for a Category 1 academy, which won't be easy to get. But I can see some clubs, which might even include Wigan Athletic, for example, electing to go for a Category 4 academy, which doesn't kick in until under 17. So in other words, clubs who elect to go for a Category 4 academy...
So that means you can keep that player?
No, would look to take released players at 16 from other clubs, or buy 16-year-olds.
Well, you get
compensation.
You get released players at 16 all of which can still be stars. I mean, some David Platt.
Well, if I tell you, Tom Cleverley was not taken on as a scholar by us at 16. We didn't release him, but he stayed at school. Michael Keane, who played in the Youth Cup, he stayed at school because when they were 16, we felt that they had things to do, particularly with regard to strength.
Yes.
The talent was there, but the one thing about being in an academy is you have to guarantee them games. And we felt we couldn't guarantee them games. But Tom Cleverley was excellent in the Youth Cup. He played left back in a back four that I think we got to the final. When we lost, we lose in the final to Liverpool?
Yes.
And the back four had stayed together all season, and we lost Cathcart in the final injured, and I think Cleverley injured as well.
But it just shows you that positions don't mean anything at a young age to a great degree either, does it?
Much more to come from the chaps in just a moment. Interesting chat about academies and the future of academies. Much more from open training, and later on, of course, as well, we have the Manchester United Premier Cup final as well. All to come after this short break. Open training live at Old Trafford. Let's go down to the pitch because Alan Keegan is talking to United's first team coach, René Meulenstein.
Once again, Old Trafford, it's great to have such a fantastic turnout. Let's have some noise. No stand, let's hear you today in the open air training. Now we're delighted to welcome René Meulenstein, who's going to have a chat with us and of course take us through the paces of what the guys are doing. Good morning, René.
Good morning. Good morning. What you see here at the moment, and what you just saw before when Tony Strudwick, the strength and conditioning guy at our club, just looking through the paces, loosening up, a little bit of stretching, a bit of activation, make sure the system is all fired up to go. Now, this is a bit more of a little social thing that players like to do, but still, when it's played in the right spirit, with the right quality, it's a really good exercise. After this, you're going to do some crossing and finishing with the players and then finish off with the game.
Now, I know you say the players like doing it. It looks very competitive behind you there with Wazza and Rio and the boys, and Ashley particularly in the middle.
Well, the main aim is obviously to keep him in the middle, and like I said, if it's played in the right way, the quality sometimes is fantastic. But there's a lot of elements in this little game that we want to use in a big 11v11 as well. There's this little quick interplay in tight areas.
Now, looking ahead as regards the season, obviously we're talking before with Sir Alex. You must have been very pleased with the way the tour went in America.
Absolutely. I think it's obviously a long time when you go away for 3 weeks, and the main aim is to prepare the team. We had some fantastic locations. We had 6 days in Seattle with fantastic facilities. That's where we put the base down. And on top of that, we played some fantastic games, scored a lot of goals. So, all reason to be optimistic.
Now, we were talking with you on the tour as well regarding the new lads and getting them to settle in. How easy is that? Because obviously, they've come from different teams, different techniques, different sort of levels. How easy is that for them to integrate?
I think it's down to the other players, really, that have been here for a longer time, and they know, at a club like Manchester United, new players do come in, but it's the other players really that make settling them down very, very quickly.
And just on a final note, and if we have time, Rennie, you might be able to set it up with us with Steely, but the goalkeepers train separately, is that right? Is that always the case?
No. They will have a separate moment with Eric, but as most, in many other occasions, we blend them into the normal regular training session.
OK, let's hear it, Old Trafford, for Rennie. Thank you very much indeed. All the very best, and enjoy it. Thank you.
René Meulenstein, United's first team coach, who has a very big part to play in those training sessions, along with Mike Phelan, and part of a pretty tight backroom staff.
Well, we've travelled with him in all countries in the world and so on and so forth, and the manager's terrific, we know all that. And I think one of his strongest points is picking the people that he's got on his staff. He's got great stuff. I'm not including you in that, Les, because you've been here.
I think it's extremely disappointing because
I'm not
when René Meulenstein was brought to the club, he was brought to the club because he was probably the world's leading expert at producing skill.
Yeah.
And